No, first of all, I just really admire your work. I've been watching you for about 2 years. I've known you, and
Mhm.
you're just very creative, very talented. I've been watching all of your blogs and your pictures, your images, your design work. I'm excited about your podcast.
Yeah, I had to show people that I got the juice. So,
Woo, baby!
all right, let's get started. Just silent.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Hey guys, I'm here with my first podcast guest, Michelle Ngome. There's an N in front and it's silent, just so y'all know. So if you see it in writing. Wow, okay. She's a networking expert, a speaker. She is multi talented and she just has pearls of wisdom. And I want her to drop them here on the Grrl podcast. So I'm going to test Michelle. Do you know what the Grrl podcast is about?
The Grrl podcast. I mean, you just started, but I think it's about being clear, being your true self, and being clear. And what I like, from my understanding, what I like about you and the concept of this show, it's about addressing everything that makes us who we are as a woman.
Yeah. And so how I came up with the concept, I was sitting there and I was like, wow, there's so many things I should know that I don't. And it wasn't deep. It was stuff like, where do acorns come from? And, how is toothpaste made? And then it got deeper. There's so many things I don't know about sexual health, about sexuality. And I thought about all the things that I had learned in the Instagram world and the social media world, because I learned a lot more than I ever learned at school.
Oh, wow.
So, and through the people I met, and I just wanted to talk about it. I don't know what else people wonder about, the things they feel like they should know and they don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made a whole list of things for the next few months that we're going to talk about. Michelle is here for Black History Month. We're going to talk about a couple different topics. This might get turned into 2 separate episodes because Michelle likes to talk.
We're going for 4 episodes.
We're both ramblers, so no offense, girl. So initially, I wanted you here for my journaling thing, but I'm flaky, and then I caught the flu.
Okay. The flu, yes.
So if you want to talk about that still, you're more than welcome to.
Okay.
But yeah, we also want to talk about Black sexuality, and she's rubbing on herself.
For the video.
All right, she did a shimmy. That is not on.
Oh!
I had a camera, but I decided not to record, so you cannot see the awesomeness that is going on right now. But anyway, so, and we're also both parents of parents. We're also both kids of immigrants. Your parents are your first generation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so am I. Your parents are from where?
Cameroon,
and
West Africa.
Yeah, and my parents are from Trinidad in the Caribbean. So we're also going to talk about that, and just a whole bunch of Black history stuff and the Black experience and our experience as Black women in the U.S. Because I never actually lived in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about that. But I have parents, so I kind of understand the random misogyny that comes out of that country.
Well, let's start.
Yeah, right.
Let's dive in.
So let's start with that, and then we can ease into Black sexuality. So we were talking about, so there's a term, and I can't remember what it is. It's when you are a child of an immigrant and then maybe the same race as something in the US, but you don't fit into either group. So you're first generation, you may be Black or Asian, something like that. And so people who are born here, you also don't fit in with them because you have different customs.
Right.
Because of your parents.
Right.
And let me see if I can look it up. But it's a really interesting concept. And I thought that's exactly where I exist. There's so many things that were different, but I look Black.
Right.
And so I am still assigned the traits of a Black American, but there are things that and I'm not saying one is better than the other. I want to be clear, but there are things I learned that are very different than you would learn if you were born with parents who are from here. Um, so yeah, what do you think about that?
I think that's true. I've been, I mean, even now at the age of 35, I still struggle with that. I feel like I've been struggling with that all my life.
Hmm.
Um, I'm working on writing my memoir with the emphasis on the sexuality component, which we'll jump into later. So I've been doing a lot of personal reflection over the past couple of months as I write out my narrative. And like I had a hard childhood,
Hmm.
you know, and I think it's hard for that time period, or obviously in the midst of it. But I like to think for someone like me, it's the first version of code switching.
Yeah.
Right? Usually when we say code switcher, we're thinking black and white.
Right.
But I remember going to school and not being black enough,
Hmm.
right? And then with my mom amongst her friends not being African enough. And they're
Hmm.
like, you're an American child,
Yeah.
And I actually like to claim I'm African. Like before anything else, I feel like I'm African, even though I was born in the States.
Mm.
And I mean, there was I've always had those moments where I feel like I haven't belonged,
Hmm.
right? And I think now growing up, um, there's still things I don't know.
Yeah, because your whole identity is based on the fact that you're not enough of one thing and you're
Right.
not enough of something else. Like this Christmas, my family had Trinidad Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I remember, so my dad made sorrel, which is a Caribbean drink made from a flower. And I don't really like it. It's kind of, people put different amounts of sugar in it. It's like Kool-Aid. I never really had Kool-Aid, I assume. But
Okay.
and so they always make fun of me when I say I don't like it. They're like, that's because you're not Trinidadian enough. And that hurts my feelings. I laugh it off because that's how Trinidadian people joke. They be trying to hurt your feelings. But I get butthurt. I'm like, okay, well, thank you.
Yeah. And like you as my parent reminding me is not helping.
Hmm. In fact, I'm like, you raised me, so why didn't you tell me how to love this more? But yeah, I think you get it from both sides,
Yeah.
right?
And I like even on like my personal relationships with guys. I remember one time I was dating this young man. I was in my 20s, and he would just say stuff. There's just things I have no idea. And I think people fail to realize I grew up in an African Cameroon household.
Mm-hmm.
Like just because I went to school with you, like I may be down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not all the way down.
But I'm learning stuff from you.
And he would say stuff like, oh yeah, well, I remember we got into this argument. He's like, you want some tea cakes? And I'm like 20 something years old. I've never heard of this cookie, this dessert called tea cakes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I was like, I don't know what's that. And he was like, you don't know what that is? How you're from the South, everyone in Texas, he was making a big deal. And I'm like, instead of you informing me.
Oh, I'm one of those people. I'm like, why don't you know this? Even though this podcast is based on the things I don't know. Like, if somebody is like, I don't know what that is, I'm like, ooh, you should.
And it's a small, like, it's a cookie. It's not even like Black history knowledge. And he will go in on me so many times. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot your parents just got off the boat.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
like
messed up.
We
introduced her to his parents. And I don't even think they knew he was dating her. And then she threatened to leave, so he finally told them, and they were upset. And she was upset, and she was like, do I stay with him? I love him. And the Reed basically told her, if you can never meet them, you can't be with him. I thought that was a really interesting letter because I'm in a biracial, is that the term? I'm in an interracial relationship. And, my dad never said outright, don't do that. But it was an issue. Like he jokingly made it an issue.
And he wasn't welcoming.
Yeah. And I think that was every boyfriend. Like one time he tried to introduce me to an African man, and that he was excited about.
Of course.
Yeah, but everyone else, he was like,
It's interesting. I think I'm single, but my brother, so my mom, well, my brother and I have the same mom. So my mom is from Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is from Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
And my stepmom is from Cameroon. Okay. So my brother, obviously, our mom is from Cameroon, and his dad is Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
So I default my brother to being a Nigerian man.
Mm-hmm.
And he married an African American woman, right? And I like her though. I love her because she's been very welcoming to the culture and everything. But there were some small problems, you know, from me on the outside looking in. I don't know how it affected the relationship, but it was one of those things where the parents are like, I guess parents don't think it's going to be serious. So it's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when it's serious, it's like, why don't you date a Cameroon girl? Why don't you date a Nigerian girl?
It's like, I'm 5 years in. You didn't think that maybe.
Yeah. And then, I mean, his dad was kind of like, well, I don't want to know who you're dating. And it was kind of bad. Like, there were some issues leading up to the wedding as far as, I think, not even who she is as a person, because she's a great person, but just because she's not a part of the culture. And I know me growing up, like, and especially in the biblical sense, it's like, don't mess up the bloodline.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I also spent some time living with my dad and everything, right? So it's like, don't mess up the bloodline.
Yeah.
This was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, but that was, what, 15, 20 years ago? Yeah. And I'm still young. I'm serious, but I would hold on to that.
Yeah.
I would hold on to that, and now I'm all the way off the bloodline. So.
See, it just took a little time. I mean, we grow out of all of it, but I used to blame my parents. I'm like, you mad about who I'm dating, but you moved me into, I wasn't born there. You moved me into a predominantly white area. Nobody looked like me. Yeah. Nobody was from a country I was from. Like, who am I supposed to?
Yeah.
Like, my default is, I'm like, oh, he's a fine white man, because that's all I ever knew growing up. You know, and now my horizons have broadened. I'm like, look at that fine man, period. But until I was like 18, I didn't know anything else. So even in college, like I missed out on the blackness, on fine black men. And I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, you know what? I didn't think that I deserved a tall, beautiful, chocolate black man. And so I just never, I was like, I could have dated them if I had just been confident about it. But man, I dated some scrubs. Like, my exes, actually they're both black, but they were scrubs. I'll be honest. Sorry. If y'all are listening to this.
You let me know when you want to dive into the sexuality component.
I will. Such scrubs, though. And I was like, I deserve better. But that's something, again, you have to grow into.
Yeah.
But I had that revelation out. And then, like, my boyfriend now, I don't think he's better because of race. I want to make that clear. But he's sweet and he treats me really well. Yeah. And that's because I finally was like, I deserve somebody who treats me good. So, and again, they weren't trash because they were black, but if I had just thought I deserve better all around and that I deserve better from anyone, no matter a race, I think it would have been a different story.
And so much plays into that. I mean, you got age, maturity, experiences. You combine all of that.
Yeah.
Because I did some stuff when I was younger. I was like, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. But at the time, you're like...
Did I don't even know if I had a standard. Like, my standard at the age of 21 was, you know...
That's true. I just was like, you opened the door for me, so you like me, so...
Are we going to go to Chili's or not?
Ooh, my ex worked at Chili's.
I had no standard at 21.
Yeah.
Now, oh Lord.
Man, last time I went to Chili's, I was like, oh, y'all just don't care. You don't care how this plate looks. You don't care how you're plating all this. We deserve better than Chili's. Let's take a quick break, okay? The Grown Girl podcast couldn't be possible without my awesome Patreon supporters. If you're wondering what Patreon is, it's a membership platform that makes it easy for artists and creators to get paid. So in exchange for a low monthly patronage, people like me can provide you with first look and exclusive content, just like this episode of the Grrl podcast. I have supporters, so shout out to my Latoyas, my Michelles, my Kelly, Solange, and Beyonces. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, I thank you in advance. Again, if you want to find out more, head to my website, thoughtscaughtinmyfro.com. And let's get back to the show.
I was at Chili's last night though, but
sorry, I'm judging you. What did you eat?
I had the shrimp pasta.
Okay, that's all right. That comes out looking good.
It wasn't a planned meal, but you know.
Okay, I feel it.
We'll get
if it was like chicken tenders or something, I would judge you. Like, don't be ordering off the child's menu.
Not me, but
I don't believe you.
No,
you look like you love some chicken tenders.
I'm very picky about my chicken because I like eating my chicken with honey. So
what?
Yeah. So if I don't have any honey with my chicken,
that's a necessity for you.
I'm not gonna eat it.
So you go to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I go to Chick-fil-A. Actually, I had Popeyes yesterday.
Tiffany made me go to Chick-fil-A the other day, and I was running late, and I was like, "No, I have time to go to Chick-fil-A. It's fast food." The line. I was like, "It's 8 p.m. Why is the lines?" I don't go there, so I didn't know what was going on. I did not know that. I don't know how we got on chicken.
I don't know.
I have more. One day we'll talk solely about chicken. And I don't want anybody to think because me and Michelle are black that we would have just a fried chicken.
No, I didn't get the $2 Tuesday. That Popeyes, I got a whole meal.
But you know what? I can have a whole podcast about cooking it, about one day. I'm going to invite you back. And we're going to talk about that.
I'm here for everything grown girl.
But anyway, what we were talking about before... I don't even know anymore. No, but yeah, dating and the culture is one big thing. And even like going back to words phrases you don't know. The other day, somebody was like, "Oh, I'm just joning." Do you know what that means? I had to ask Tiffany.
What, fiending? Are they still
No, it's like, I'm just teasing you. And I had to look, I looked it up on Urban Dictionary because I'm 15 years old. But my friend told me, I was like, "You're being mean to me." He's like, "No, I'm just joning. I'm joning."
Oh.
So now when my boyfriend says I'm being mean to him, I'm like, "I'm just joning."
I haven't heard that word in a long time.
So you knew what it was?
And I think, yes, but in a different context. So I'm thinking like fiending, like I want you.
That's Jonesing.
See? I'm getting old, y'all. I'm getting old and this camera's not on as I keep looking into it.
Let me turn it around so you don't think it's... I don't think it's on. No, it's not on.
Life is funny. And then another thing I don't like is the fact that when I say I'm African or people see a lot of people don't know until they see my last name, right? And they're like, "Oh, you don't look African."
What?
Or they assume I'm Nigerian. And I'm like, look, every African is not from Nigeria. Like, and then I gotta get into a geography lesson of Africa as a continent with like 50 countries.
Why don't people know that yet? I took a whole class on geography where you had to name every country in Africa.
9th grade.
9th grade, you're right. That is...
I don't understand how people don't know.
You know what? Think about this. You don't take geography outside of the U.S. till you're 15. So you have all this knowledge before that. I never took anything geography related until freshman year. So think about, until you're 15, all you know is U.S. history. All you know is the U.S.
And your state.
Exactly. So that's why people are like, what?
That's a good point.
Because then you only take geography when? For one semester? I think I only took it first semester.
Yeah, I went to high school in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, it was 9th grade.
Yeah, it was definitely 9th grade.
So I think that's why people are like, "Oh, I didn't remember that."
That's fine too, but
I'm not defending them.
I think there has to be some level of being politically correct.
Yeah.
Right. A common courtesy. Like, and my therapist gets on to me because I don't like it when I meet people. I'm like, oh, I'm from Cameroon, West Africa. I always say West Africa,
Mm-hmm.
or try to. And then someone will be like, oh, yeah, we had some people from Kenya visit our church one year.
And you're like, okay.
Like, that's something. It's
Why
like
are
East,
you?
East Coast versus West Coast.
That's it's Tupac and Biggie. Okay, it's Snoop Dogg and whoever else. KRS-One. Like
like, okay.
Do you know my friend from Kenya? Is that the next question I ask you?
Like, it never felt like someone will say something like totally random, or of course Nigeria is this,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, get me out of this. And my therapist was like, Michelle, they're just trying to find common ground with you to develop a relationship.
Oh,
and
so we shouldn't be immediately offended.
Oh, is that what that is? But I think I'm doing better on it, but it's just like, okay, once again, they don't allow it.
It's just a reminder of the division.
And people don't know their geography.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I think at the end of the day, there's nothing else I would rather be.
I was thinking about that. I was like, you know what? I really like having that part of my identity. I like that I can go there. I
feel like I should be.
What?
I'm listening.
Oh. And I like that I can eat food outside of American food because honestly, I mean, it's all right. But there's so much better food other places. I'm sorry. It's true. So my mom used to pack me like actual Trinidadian lunches in elementary school, like rice and peas and chicken, stewed chicken. And I used to get so sad because I would eat it and everyone would be like, ew, what is that? And I was like, I asked my mom to stop packing me these kind of lunches because of peer pressure. I'm sorry, Mom. But I was looking back, I'm like, your mom didn't even love you. You're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day.
I feel like I went through so much trauma growing up.
Yeah.
Because my mom, I used to be really black. Like my skin was darker than what it is now. And my mom would plait my hair. She would like thread my hair, like African style.
Oh, nice.
And then I would have like these loops in my hair.
Oh, man. They messed you up in school, didn't they?
I was called so many names in school.
Oh, man.
Like the African booty scratcher.
What is that? Where did that come from?
My childhood was, I think that's why I have a bad memory. I done suppressed so many thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't remember. I don't know.
Where did you go to elementary? In Georgia too?
No. So I grew up in Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, that's why, girl.
Yeah, go Raiders. So I grew up in Lubbock, Texas. I went to Parsons Elementary. Then I went to Atkins Junior High, which was predominantly white and Hispanic. And then the black girls didn't like me. That was a whole nother issue there. And then, so I did my 7th grade there. And then 8th grade, I moved to Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And that was just a complete culture shock. So I did 1 year at North Plain Middle School. And then I did my 4 years at Riverdale High School.
Ooh, Riverdale.
And then, so when I got to Atlanta, I remember the first time when school started, because my dad and his wife lived in the hood. And I was like, okay, I've done this before. But when school started, when the bus dropped you off, you had to stay in the gym.
Oh, until school started?
Right, until, the first bell rang. And I remember sitting, like, in the gym on the bleacher, like the front row, and another traumatized event. Yeah. And then I was just there. I was like, I've never seen so many black people in one place before. Yeah.
I feel that. I still haven't seen a lot of black people in one place before. Maybe at like a wedding.
And it was just like, oh my God, what am I getting? I'm supposed to learn here? Like,
oh shit. That's so rude. That's so rude.
What have I gotten myself into?
It wasn't your fault. So.
But and that 8th grade year, that was a tough year too. that was a tough year because oh, you talk white. You know, why you talk so proper?
That is such. I'm like, look at how we let whiteness affect us in a way that we will be so divisive
Mm-hmm.
amongst ourselves. That hurts me because I got that too. White people would tell me that, like, you're white on you're different. You're a different kind of black. And I was like,
I'm a good black.
I was like, that's, oh man, I didn't have, it wasn't cruel, the teasing I got, but it hurt because they were still calling me their friend, and they were telling me all this kind of crazy stuff. And I was like, I want to be your friend outside of this really rude and traumatizing stuff you're saying to me. Like, they would turn off the lights and be like, where did Nyla go? Yeah. Or I remember one time I was in the pool and they threw watermelon in the pool at me. These are my friends. Yeah. Another time we went to a house party and somebody started telling racist jokes, and so I was like, let's go. And they're like, no, we don't want to leave. So I went and I sat in the car and I just cried.
Oh my gosh.
But so I just felt like I don't know any black people. These white people are crazy.
Yeah.
Like, where do I go? Where do I
you're never enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was hard. And I'm still friends with some of these people. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you know, you're just a dumb teenager. Mm-hmm. And you're probably just saying stuff you hear your parents say. So, I mean, it's not a grudge, but yeah, that shit puts you in a mindset that can keep you back for so long.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. I just remember, like, just not being enough.
Yeah.
You know, like, I didn't wear the right clothes.
Mm-hmm.
It was just always something.
Yeah. I don't know if when you were in school they had, but there were these Doc Martens sandals that every white kid was wearing, honestly. And they were ugly as hell. But I wanted some so badly because everybody else had some. And my mom was like, I'm not buying you those Jesus sandals. She's like, I'm not spending, because they were probably like $100. They're so ugly, Michelle. But
why did you like them?
Everybody else had them. Like, I went to a white school, so nobody had Jordans. So I wanted these sandals. And yeah, she said, I'm not buying you those Jesus shoes. Then she found me some knockoff ones for $20. So
was it worth it?
Yeah, I don't think people. I mean, now if I was a parent, I wouldn't. I'd be like, no, you want to look good, don't you? Don't buy those Jesus sandals.
I mean, it's hard. I don't think parents understand. Like, I don't know if they forget and they just fail to understand. Because I remember when I was living with my mom, like, it was Payless shoes. Michelle, and I was like, Mom, I want some Nikes. I want some Nikes.
Yeah.
I want some Nikes. She's like, no, Michelle, you're too rough on your shoes, and I can't afford it.
No, they don't forget. I feel like for my parents, I can't speak for yours, but my parents, my Trinidadian parents, they only grew up around other Trinidadians with all the same kind of parents who acted the same, who raised their kids the same. So I don't think they forgot. I think it's not the same.
That's true, because my mom didn't go to school here.
Yeah. And they had to wear uniforms.
I don't know. I'm like, Mom, they're making fun of me at school. I'm trying to.
Like daily. Like it's affecting my mental state.
I'm trying to make my life a little bit easier here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, my gosh.
I wore my hair in braids a lot. And I mean, it wasn't African threading with immaculate designs or anything like that. But I had to explain a lot because white people don't. There's so much they don't understand.
Because their perm is different than our perm.
Well, what I realized is called a permanent relaxer for us.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's called a perm. Okay. I don't know what theirs means. Permanent.
I think theirs.
Yeah, I know it's curly. I saw one the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, that's not curly, girl. That looks."
Or spiral.
It didn't come out that way. She was like, "I got a perm." I was like, "Oh, you paid for that."
I can't tell. Okay, I remember like Coming to America is like one of my favorite movies. What year did that come out? Is it 89?
I don't know. We can watch it right now.
Girl, line by line. But my mom, she had a Jheri curl. I had a Jheri curl.
Wait, pause.
Drip,
Oh my God.
curl. You know, my collar would be all greasy and dirty. My childhood was rough then.
Oh my God. Yeah, you were rough on your hair.
Childhood was
When
rough.
did you get a Jheri? How old were you?
I was young. I'm telling you, like.
Your mom is not right. That's not right.
Even now, she'd be saying, like, my mom, she doesn't like the fact I'm natural, right?
Oh, really?
And I've been natural almost 8 or 9 years. And then, Michelle, what are you going to do with your hair? You want to relax it? You want a Jheri curl? Mom, don't you ever.
They don't sell that anymore, so don't worry. Where can you get a Jheri curl?
No, don't say that word in front of me.
Is a Jheri curl a perm? Is Jheri curl to black people as perm is to white people? What is it? I don't understand what a Jheri curl is.
So SAT analogy.
You know, honestly, I didn't know what a Jheri curl is till I watched Coming to America.
I mean, it just makes it makes it curly.
How?
And then I guess we faded into the texturizer, right?
So texturizer is actually a relaxer, it just isn't as strong.
It loosens the curl, right? Because it loosens your curl pattern.
Does that
work? But I got that. Not for me, because I have tight coils.
Yeah, me too.
But see, I experimented with that when I first became natural. Mm-hmm. You know, but and then when I became natural in 2009, there wasn't a lot of information like there is now.
That's when I went natural.
Yeah, so I was just a product junkie.
I didn't know what I was doing.
And then, like, I mean, I knew. Now we're talking about hair. Like, I knew I had that kente.
Now this is still in that conversation because, yeah.
But
you mean Kunta Kente?
Yeah. I knew I had that. I love my fro. I love my fro. But, you know, it's like, it was just so much.
Let me see your shrinkage. They always talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm like, mine isn't.
Major.
Whoa. Do you ever straighten it?
I used to, but not now. I'm just so happy.
It's just simpler.
I'm just so happy. Like,
so this has nothing. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about hair. We'll talk about my hair in another episode too. What were we talking about?
Just being black from head to toe.
It's rough.
From head to toe.
It's so much maintenance, mentally and physically. Seriously though.
Oh man. No, but yeah, I mean, I had a Jheri curl. I mean, like, I was just made fun of all the time. And it's like, I would go home, you know, to my house with my parents. And it was just crazy. It was crazy. So I spent years living with my mom up until the age of 12 in Lubbock, Texas. And then, so many stories now that I think about it. And then from the age of 12 to 17, I was with my dad in Atlanta. So, you know, it's like I was surrounded by white people, went to Atlanta, didn't feel like I fit in with the black people. And it was just crazy. It was just crazy. I remember I would just be sitting there and my dad would touch my nose, be like, oh, you got a white man's nose. You with your white man's nose.
My mom used to squeeze my nose she was like, I'm building the bridge of your nose. So I had the opposite. My mom would be like, she'd push my nose in. My parents are Caribbean, so they're a little superstitious and stuff.
Really?
So I was like, I thought that was real. I was like, I would do it to myself eventually. I was like, I'm building a bridge. Obviously, it did not work. I have no bridge. My glasses sit on top of my nostrils.
And see, I wouldn't even, like, I didn't even know. And then I started looking at people's noses. And I'm like, oh, I do have a pointy nose.
See? Man, this is why you got to learn yourself. You got to unlearn stuff before you have kids. You have to unpack all that mess before you have children. Because look at us sitting here with broken hearts and minds.
Broken hearts and laughter.
Being like, oh my gosh.
Traumatized. No, self-awareness is key though.
Mm-hmm.
Self-awareness is key. So, but no, I mean, you know, everything I do it for the culture.
Yeah. Wait, whose? Which whose?
You know, African.
All of it.
Black, hip-hop.
Bust out.
All of the above.
Can you like bust out a flow if I give you a beat right now? Or are you gonna pull an Iggy Azalea?
You saw that meme?
When she's doing when they're like doing a Chinese food order.
No, what's the other chick's name?
Who?
That said she's black.
Rachel Dolezal.
You saw that meme this week? She said, "I, me too, and from Wakanda."
Oh, she didn't actually say that. It's a meme. I thought you were saying she actually said that, and I would die if she said that. That's not real. That's a meme, but it's funny. Rachel Dolezal. Oh my gosh. She said,
but it's such a good picture, though. It's like,
I too am from Wakanda.
Oh my God, girl, go ahead.
Do you think she's gonna go to the premiere?
I think at this point
they should have invited her to the.
I mean, at this point, I think she just does stuff for the attention, right? So it's like she might as well run with it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I think my thing with her, though, is like I need people to respect. I'm gonna just say Black culture with everything that falls under that, like Black, African, African American, Afro Latina, all of it. But we need more people like her in a sense that you need to use, like Charlamagne says, you need to use your white privilege to speak up and against racism.
We do not need more people like her. No, she thinks she's Black, though.
She's overstepped the boundary. That's the problem with her.
Okay.
If she could just be like, hey, I'm a white woman and I serve on the NAACP. Yes.
But do you think do you think initially she had good intentions and then she lost? No, I think she's mentally ill.
She has brainwashed herself.
She has Stockholm syndrome.
But like we need you to respect our culture. We don't need you to, I want to say, become our culture. Like, I don't know how to. She's overstepped her boundaries. Basically.
Have you ever seen? Okay, so there's Rachel Dolezal, who at least. Well, my problem is the wigs and the tanning.
Too much.
But have you seen this girl on Instagram? Her name is Woe Vicky, and oh my gosh, she's the worst human being on earth. If there was an award for that, she would get it. So she took that DNA test that you can take, which, by the way, let's talk about that separately. But and it said she was like, what, 1% African. So then she develops this character who is loud and obnoxious, has a certain way of talking, and I'm just like, why isn't anyone? I don't want to say that to get physical with her, but where are her parents? She can't be more than 17.
Oh, the one that was on Dr. Phil?
No, that's Cash Me Outside. Oh, okay. I like Cash Me Outside because I believe that that's truly her. I think that's her. Okay. This girl is just doing it for laughs.
I think because of social media, there's a greater scale of getting attention.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think a lot of people are warped in getting attention.
That's true.
And negative attention.
And it's better. Like good PR or bad PR.
And if I'm able to take an ounce of this and spin it.
Yeah. Because she's got millions of followers. Yeah. But she's wearing, and people are like, oh, she's acting Black. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but that is no definition of Blackness. And she's not wearing a costume. She's being insane. And she is hurting us. Yeah, there are girls from the hood. And yeah, they deserve every same bit of respect as we do. But her just wearing that costume and everyone being like, she's acting Black. No, she's acting obnoxious. And she doesn't get to wear a costume. And when we're going through experiences based in Blackness, because she's not experiencing that. Because she still looks white. Yeah. She put her hair in braids and she got long nails. And, she tries to make herself like a round-away girl. But an around-the-way girl has so many experience in her that is only related to Blackness. And so I'm like, you are trash. You are 17-year-old trash. And when you're old and you need to get a job, that's going to be awkward for you. Like, imagine interviewing her and be like, "You look very familiar, Victoria. Um, wait a minute, are you Whoa, Vicky?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, and people can change. People can change. And I think, one thing I've never liked was, like, I've never seen Any Other Fridays, right?
You mean the movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I don't like the portrayal of us, in the sense that what happens is, when we do a movie like that, that's how society perceives us, and they hold on to that.
Oh, but I love Friday.
But if a white person, what you got, the beard, the duck hunt guys.
Oh yeah.
You got Honey Boo Boo.
Uh-huh.
That's like, we just
That's just them.
That's just them, pure entertainment, comedy, and that's it.
Yeah. You know what? I felt that way about the Chappelle Show.
Mm.
And I don't mean that I don't think that he was cooning or anything like that. But I remember in college, white people watching it and thinking it was so funny. And I'm like, they don't get the irony. They don't get that it's ironic. They really think that that's just funny because it's black and that's, yeah. So I was like, oh, I can't. If the world was smarter, I could get with Chappelle's show, but it's not. And I think he understood that eventually. I think that was part of why he walked away, including them trying to buy him his soul. But yeah, I see that with, man, Friday though. I don't, well, do white people watch Friday? They don't know that Bye Felicia is from Friday. I don't think they watch that movie.
Right. But they saying it, and they feel
but they don't know what it's from.
Okay.
They don't know what Bye Felicia is from.
I mean, I didn't know either, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you saw Friday.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you need to watch it. Don't be talking about it.
I could probably watch it now that I'm older.
You never saw any Friday?
I never had the desire to.
Oh, even now I've seen it, and I'm the third culture. Maybe that's the term, third culture, that I was trying to remember before. But yeah, I'll make you watch it.
And then I have a friend named Felicia too. So when that became popular,
were you like, how do they know her?
Well, I'm not that foolish, but I just think, it's just like, it's close to home and it's played out. So it's just like,
yeah, they ruined that.
So,
I mean, that wasn't a thing. They ruined that. They being whoever you want to think they are. They ruined Bye Felicia. They ruined a lot. I was thinking the other day that if Black Twitter didn't exist, there'd be no culture. There'd be no T-shirts.
We are it, man.
Yes, there'd be nothing.
And I definitely think that's why I said even hip-hop, right? I do it for the culture. Even the influence of hip-hop that has spanned into so many outlets.
Hey guys, let's take a quick break. Okay, here's a quick shout out to some of my favorite accounts on social media having to do with race, body culture, fashion, fun, or mental health. So around race, body, and culture, I really like sassy_latte. Also, Megan Kimberling, her account is of the same name. Kimberling is spelled Kimberling. And there's also Yasmin at quarter.water.dreams. If you're looking for inspiration of any and all kinds, fashion, fun, decor, whatever, try Crystal with a K and a Y, DeSantos, and her account is of the same name, or Brandy at Authentically Be. So her account is Authentically Be and her name is Brandy. Finally, some mental health accounts I really like are You Are Not Alone. That is, their account is talk_Yana, YANA. You Are Not Alone. Also, the Soul Filling podcast. Some people from my hometown of Houston. Shout out to Tiffany and Jasmine and the rest of their crew. And finally, the Avocado and Honey podcast, which is just about self-care all around. All right, that was a lot, but I'll have some more next time. So let's get back to the show. we strayed away a little bit from our main topic, but you know, I think it goes back to the fact that we can have that. We've got that perfect mixture of understanding of what it is to be foreign, and then also to be the Black experience in America. And I think that's an advantage. Not to for us. I'm not saying necessarily over anybody, but and even like you said, code switching, I think people give it a negative connotation, but it truly does help you to bridge a divide sometimes. I mean, I don't have my code switching is flawed because like you said, there's so much I don't know about Black American culture. I know more now that I'm older.
Right.
But I mean, I would code switch the other way, not into whiteness. I'd have to, because of where I grew up, I had to code switch into Blackness.
Right.
And I was still learning Blackness.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, I did when I got my job at HEB. That was the first place that I was around a really diverse crowd because everybody works at HEB, and so my code switching got really strong there because they would be like, "You talk white" and stuff like that, and so I learned a lot there. But I had to be constantly, because you're also dealing with different customers.
Right.
I was constantly code switching.
Right.
So, but I talked to my friend the other day, and she was like, I don't do that. I don't have a problem with how I sound or anything like that. I'm really secure. And
she's Black or white?
She's Black. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, that never crossed my mind. Like I felt innately that I need to code switch.
Well, I think I'm secure now, right? And there's so much that has come with that as far as experience. But I don't, and maybe code switching is not the right word at this time, at least for me. But yeah, I adjust, like, you were laughing at me because I was dancing, right? Obviously, I'm more comfortable with you.
Yeah.
But if we were at the Urban League having a meeting, I'm going to be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all making adjustments based off our comfort level with people. And of course, if there's a stranger that comes up to me, I mean, I want to say I'm going to talk the same way I talk. My tone, enunciation, I don't use a lot of slang. Of course, I'm not going to curse, right? But yeah, like, I really think, like, what you see is what you get. But if we're really good friends, you're just going to get some more foolery.
Yeah. And that's why I think everybody code switches.
Right.
Like, you're a different... I mean, some people are the same at work as they are at home. And that's fine. That's not... And they pride themselves in that. They're like, I'm always the same.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but I'm also not an extrovert. I think extroverts do that a lot. They're like, I'm the same everywhere. And I'm not like that. I have to tell myself to be personable in public, or else I'm going to be like, I'm over here eating snacks by myself, and that is fine. So.
Nah, life, it's interesting.
Yeah. And we got that added thing about not knowing a whole additional bunch of stuff. As always, Michelle Ngome giving me the pearls of wisdom. But yeah, let's wrap things up. Is there anything that you want to tell us to check out from you before we go? Books, speaking gigs, where can we find you online? Talk about your podcast.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Networking with Michelle where we discuss life strategies with a little bit of entrepreneurial advice. And yeah, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, pretty much new episode every week. I'm very grateful. Been doing that for the past 3 years. And my website is michellegome.com. That's Michelle, MichelleNgome.com.
Silent N. Tricky.
Not known, but Gome. And, I'm just grateful to be on platforms like this, to share my message. And I've been opening up a lot more. I think this may be one of the best interviews that I've done because I've been able to express like everything that makes up Michelle.
Yeah.
Right. And not just the networking guru of
right.
Michelle and everything. So great. So thank you
yeah.
For allowing me to have this outlet. And I look forward to following your success.
So what's next for you?
What's next for me? Studying on these hoes.
I was not expecting that.
In the Corolla.
Oh my God.
You know how I do.
Hanging on the passenger side in his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I'm not saying you a scrub.
Well, the Corolla, we do what it's now. Now, on a professional note, was I code switching?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing that right now.
Okay. No, seriously, I'm doing a lot more emphasis on speaking engagements. I'm very fortunate to already speak at Texas A&M University, Prairie View A&M University, Houston Association of Black Journalists, and just a couple of different things this year. I have 2 books, Network Navigate and Nurture, Success Undefined. The next books, like I said, I am writing my memoir, and I'm trying to frame it in such a way that there's a lot of emphasis on the Black sexuality component.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm spending a lot more time talking about sexuality, and promoting that message, and really, really want people to understand that they're survivors.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they're thinking and they're feeling, it's okay. It's okay to be your whole self.
Yeah.
Um, Advocate of mental health. I have a therapist, and creating those safe spaces for people, whether it's face to face or online. And I just really want women to know, like, I'm an advocate for women in the sense that, once again, we are multifaceted, multi passionate people. We are capable of doing so much, and we need to express that to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you to decide on how you want to express your womanhood. And I encourage it. We need more of it. And I just, I'm over here rooting for everyone Black.
Woo!
Rooting for every woman. I'm rooting for every man that supports women.
So I have this idea where I want to meet more Black people in real life, not just online. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make these business cards, and on the front, it's going to say I'm rooting for everyone Black. Mm-hmm. And then on the back, it's going to be like, hi, I'm Nyla. Nice to meet you. And then I'm going to have my Instagram or something. I thought about my phone number, but I'm like, nah, because I don't know who these people really are. But and my email. And that's how we meet more Black. I'm just going to hand it to them.
I think that's dope.
Yeah.
I think that's really dope. And I think I just love us, and I want to support us, and I'm just working my butt off. I just want to share my message. And once again, just thank you for this outlet.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So the last thing is, what's one thing you think grown girls should know? What's one thing you think every grown girl should know?
Every grown girl needs to know you are good enough just the way you are, and you will continue to evolve. You're a whole woman, and you're learning, and you're figuring shit out, and it's okay. Who's with you is with you, and who's not, don't even worry about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you, Michelle, for coming to my podcast. It's only the 2nd episode, and look at all these awesome things we talked about, And thank you for listening. As always, you can check me out at thoughtscaughtinmyfro.com. You can also find me on YouTube, and I'm trying to figure out how to upload this podcast to a whole bunch of different things. So I'll talk to Michelle about that. All right. Yeah. Peace.